time to show you a new custom tactic and formation that is getting really overlooked on FC25, tried and tested in FUT Champs and the Elite Division by myself. Let's get into it. It's the 4-2-3-1. Is your team looking a little something like this and you want to upgrade it on FC25? Well, today I might have a solution for you with lootbar.gg. Lootbar.gg is the fastest place to get your coins, but not only that, they are also the cheapest. Not only are they 8 to 10% cheaper than all other competitors, they're also considerably cheaper than FC Points. On top of that, Lootbar are now also offering 8% extra coins on every single order. You can also now buy packs directly from Lootbar, which is cheaper than on the game. And don't just take it from me, a lot of other creators are using Lootbar. And you know you can trust them because their reviews are brilliant. And on top of all of that, guys, they offer a very fast delivery service, getting you your coins within 30 minutes. So if you are looking for FC25 coins, make sure to go to the pinned comment or the description and use code VIPER to get 8% off all of your orders. Now, guys, first of all, if you are enjoying the content, please leave a like and also subscribe to the channel. We're like 200 away from 20k at the moment, so I'd really appreciate if you do enjoy these tactics and you do enjoy the videos, that you do leave a like and subscribe. This is an interesting one, and I know a lot of you showed a bit of hate on the 4-2-1-3. Hate the game, not the player. It's the game's fault that formation is still so good and hasn't been nerfed. But this 4-2-1-3, I actually used like the last 5 games on my 15-0, and it's crazy good, man. It's crazy good. It's got a few things that are quite important that you take notice of, but as long as you build the team in a certain way, you can really use a whole host of other formations on this game and not just use the 4-2-1-3. But with that being said, let's get into the tactics. So guys, of course, we are in the 4-2-3-1 narrow. Now, a lot of people actually like using the wide variant. I just personally find that there is too much width and players are too far away from each other, which is actually going to be a bit contradictory once we do get into the roles. But bear with me, okay? Build up style. Now, 2 options for you on the 4-2-3-1. You can go for balanced or you can go for short passing. I found short passing works really well in this formation because of essentially the midfield 5 that you've got, especially with the roles that we do have on. There are lots of options for passes, and that is what this formation is great at. It's constantly having a passing option, the ability to play really nice football, nice tiki-taka, and have lots of options going forward with lots of passing opportunities as well in that same regard. I personally found that balance is good though. I like to be able to counter-attack when I want to. I also like to be able to build up the play when I want to. So balanced gives me the best of both worlds there. Now, listen to this one, okay? Because this is very recent. 95 line height or 95 depth is what you're going to want to go for on this. Now, EA might patch this soon because it is so disgustingly broken that I don't think this is going to stay in the game for very long at all. It's even more broken than the actual formation, which is the 4-2-1-3. Aggressive gives you that silly stuff that we've had in previous years, you know, the 71 depth, the insane press that you cannot get out of. The suffocation is crazy. Doesn't really have any drawbacks to stamina. It's just benefits on benefits on benefits. And also you get the automatic offside traps, which is really good. I imagine that they're going to patch this quite soon. Then I would recommend going back down to balance. But for right now, and the way the game is getting played, please play 95 depth. Aggressive defensive approach. It's absolutely outrageous on this game right now, and it can't be understated how good it is. It is really broken. But now it's time to get into the player roles. Now you're going to notice that the player roles are wrong here. These are not what I'm setting up to do. We're going to go back to front here as well. Goalkeeper on Casillas. This is literally just up to you what you prefer. I mean, I think both of them are much of a muchness. I don't think it really matters what you have here. If you have your goalkeeper on Super Keeper, you're not going to get chipped from the halfway line, so it doesn't really matter what you do. It's just your preference on your keeper. Now, if you've watched my previous tactic videos, you know what's coming in the back line. Defender and defender on centre-backs. Always do not change this at all. We've actually added Benjamin Pavard in here, I believe, from Rudiger. Just like Pavard's playstyles a bit more. And Rio is one of the best defenders on the game, full stop, end of story, in my opinion. But for the fullbacks, it's going to be exactly the same as per usual. Full stack on Kimmich, and then also full stack on Davies. Now, you're going to notice that Kimmich doesn't have even a plus here, and Davies only has plus. It doesn't matter. For me personally, the way I play with my fullbacks, I want them to be a bit expansive. I want them to utilise their passing qualities, which Kimmich has in abundance, and so does this Evo Davies that I've got here. Incisive pass plus on Davis, and then long ball pass plus on Kimmich. Once again, Go and watch my previous tactic video if you want to understand why false back is so good and why the play styles that they've got is so vital. But essentially, it's the manual over the tops to your wider options. So I hit a manual pass here up to Reeton, vice versa with Lauren James with Alphonso Davies, and it's so good. It's so broken. It's one of the #1 ways I get a lot of my goals. It's really sweaty, it's really overpowered, but it works an absolute treat, and it's so simple to master that I think everyone should really learn it. If you want to go see it, I'll link the previous video or tactics video in the description and on screen right now as well, so you can go check that out. But it's like near the end of the video and you can see exactly how I do it. CDMs. I have been very defensive with my CDMs for a very long time on this game, and I found that I don't like that. I like my CDMs to be a bit more expansive, similar to the fullbacks. Centre half is really good, but it's more for a one pivot formation. I really like deep line playmaker, and this says the key cog to building up the play from the back. This defensively positioned midfielder will often be the catalyst for attacks. That's cool. When you put defend on them, with a defend focus, the deep line playmaker will focus on closing down passing lanes and staying back while their team attacks. I don't want that. I also don't want roaming. I think roaming seems a bit silly for a CDM, as you need a bit of positional awareness there. Build up is the best for CDMs, and so is deep line playmaker. When set to build up, the deep line playmaker will move forward and offer a passing option to support attacks. That means they're a bit more expansive and they come forward a little bit more. They don't kind of get isolated. They also don't go too far up, but they're also not, you know, super deep, which I think is really important. And we're going to have that on Kira Walsh and also on Bergvall. This Bergvall is one of the best players on the game for this position, by the way. Deep line playmaker is really underrated, and I think you should give it a go, even if you're not going to follow these tactics. It's so good on this game with the build-up focus. And it just means that they're a bit more in a position to be a bit more creative, which I want from my CDMs. You know, I really like that Kante. Too defensive for me. Both of these cards have got good passing opportunities, passing abilities, passing play styles. And that is why I want to have them a little bit more coming forward, basically. I think it's really important that you don't have your two CDMs stagnate. And that's exactly what I'm going for here with having them both on deep line playmaker and build up. Now, this is where some people are going to crucify me here, because this is where it's going to get a bit strange. And people are going to think, what the hell are you doing, Viper? Please stick with me. So both cams in this formation are, well, I say both cams, the two wide cams which are pivotal to making this formation work, are both going to be on half winger. Bear with me, because I know this is a very hated role, arguably the most hated role on FC25. But the understanding for me, and when I play with this formation, is the 4-2-3-1, the standard variation, is a very direct, narrow formation. You get no width at all in this formation. This provides you with some width, some well-needed width. It's still a very direct formation, but then you've got two cams here that are going quite wide. As you can see right there, they're very wide, playing essentially as a right wing and left wing. One thing to note as well, I have got both of my outside cams on the opposite side. So Reeton is a left footer on the left-hand side. James is a right footer on the right-hand side. Obvious reasons. Once again, learn Trivellas. And that's how a lot of goals come in this formation. It is your two wide players either get into an area where they can do a Trivella, or they get to an area where they can cut it back to one of the striker or the number 10, which is going to be Cole Palmer. I found this to work really well. It's not for everyone, but as you can see there, the width that they offer is absolutely brilliant, especially when you consider this middle cam here, who is arguably, not even arguably, he is the most important player in the team. Definitely don't put this player on half winger. It's a really big mistake. I'm going to be putting my middle cam, my number 10, on classic 10, a traditional attacking midfielder through whom most creative and attacking play will go through. Whilst I've got Palmer here, I think it's very important that you've got someone that is super creative. 5-star skills, technical, good passing qualities, good passing play styles, as everything is going to go through this card. And he is going to be setting up Reeton and James, or your Ram and your Lamb. He is going to be setting up the striker, who is Pele in my case. Classic 10 works really well for the creativity. It's just that simple. It's a really creative role. they're essentially on roaming. Like, you can change this to wide. You do not want that. You want them to be direct, as, you know, you don't have a lot of directness anymore because of the Ram and the Lamb. You're getting that now from the two CDMs, the Cam, and also the Striker, who I think it's really, really obvious what we're going to put on this card. And it's just going to be Advanced Forward, right? Advanced Forward is your absolute. You could actually try Support. I actually quite like Support. But kind of depends what striker you've got. If you've got a very physical striker, I would say just Advanced Forward and Attack. If you've got someone that's a bit more creative like Pele, Support is certainly an option. But I've just found that Attack is what got me a 15-0, basically. So I'm going to keep that on that. But as you can see here, it's a strange looking with the ball setup. You've got Pele and Cole Palmer, who are the central cam and the striker, very, very close to each other. You've got the width entirely coming from your Ram and Lamb. You've got good defensive solidity with the two CDMs here, that will also kind of drive into them open spaces that you can see there. You've got your two fullbacks that are going to be really, really important to setting up attacks and setting up counter attacks. And your two defenders that are going to be staying exactly where they are. Some of you might think this is going to be too compact, but once again, James and Reeton, my Ram and Lamb, are the width, and they will also help out defensively, even though they're on the attack focus. I really recommend giving these a go, guys. They're very, very fluid. They're meant to be played as dominant formation, where you're going to be keeping most of the ball and scoring a lot of goals. I love it. I think it's absolutely incredible. The code is there on your screen right now. Go and give these a go, and if you did enjoy them, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Give me a comment as well. Let me know what you think to them. Let me know what you would change. But guys, if you have enjoyed today's 4-2-3-1 tactics, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell so you never miss a video. But guys, it's going to be it from me for now, so take care.